What's up, everybody? My name is Janis, and I'm here to answer some questions from Sounds of the Future.
I love you 508.
I currently study psychology, on the side, and I think that music and psychology actually have a lot in common. So I plan to kind of merge some of those things eventually. From Lawrence, born and raised, but I also live in Philadelphia. I lived in Florida. I came back to Lawrence. I lived a little bit everywhere. Uh, I used to do a lot more rap, but I won't lie. I'm trying to branch away from that a little bit because I do believe that I, I'm capable of a lot more than that. So recently, I've been singing a lot more. I've been producing a lot more. Um, and I'm working on really honing in my sound to make it 100% authentic to me. I actually never thought I would make music. So it started in seventh grade, right? It was a band class, one period a week, not even once a day. So once every Wednesday, I got to skip science class, and I was like, oh, bet. And then I went, figured out that I was actually pretty good at it. Got into some of the states, regional concerts, stuff like that. And then I listened to a lot of rock music back then, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do that, but I could never find people that also wanted to make a rock band, this time. Uh, so I figured rapping would be a little easier to get into from the start. Type beats and all that are so available. It's more approachable from some kid that's just in high school trying to figure out what they're doing. So that's kind of where it started, and I've only evolved from there. So I used to have a little home studio set up. It's been a little wishy-washy recently. I need to upgrade my laptop at the crib. Probably get a desktop. I usually do my demos all at the crib, and then I'll bring the ones that I really like to the studio. But a little Janis insight. Most of everything that I've actually performed recently was done on BandLab in my phone in the room. So most of it hasn't even been brought to the studio recently. But I'm working on bringing everything, getting everything fully done. So yeah, the production currently is mostly not me. I've for some reason kept like all of my beats a secret this whole time, but I will say they are there and they are pretty good. So eventually the goal is to start releasing strictly on my own production. So I always love this question because I feel like a lot of them are you wouldn't think of them. My Chemical Romance, my number one first reason I wanted to start making music. Um, just something about the feeling and like the empowerment that it makes you feel like you can do anything personally. So I wanted to do that. Um, and then I would say Gus Dapperton, one of my favorites as well. That's more like indie bedroom pop type stuff, completely different. Um, I would put Eden up there, top three. Um, he does more like pop mixed with EDM. So I don't know. I love the way that he fuses it with his vocals, and I take a lot of inspiration from that. Um, and then there's a lot of others. If I'll put Kanye on that list, of course. Gotta put Kanye, Kendrick, people like that, Childish Gambino. The list goes on and on. But in terms of my influences, I take a lot of inspiration from things that are actually outside of hip hop, which I find interesting because I mainly make hip hop. Um, I mean, I've known for a long time that this is what I wanted to do, but I never knew which route I wanted to take. Because again, I started playing like live instrumentation. I play 7 instruments. So originally, I wasn't sure if I just wanted to do that, get into the pit in Broadway, or if I wanted to be a producer, if I wanted to be a vocalist. I didn't become a vocalist for a few years after I learned music theory and all that to begin with. So I think I just started experimenting, and it really started with just me and my boys in high school at my boys' house, freestyling like random shit like that. Um, so that like passion kind of grew that way. But I think just as the journey has progressed and seeing the natural development in me and my music and like the way that people react to my music and stuff like that has only further pushed the the goal of that this is what I wanted to do. I don't know if there was ever like one specific point where I was just like, holy shit, you know, but it's just always continued and progressed further and further into I think that I could really do this. The marketing. Me personally, I still do almost all of it myself. I mean, credit to everybody that I've worked with. I know a lot of graphic designers, engineers, producers, you know, things like that. There are definitely, it's not like I've done every single step myself, but I also do a lot of it myself. Um, and the one part that is really hard to do in the on top of all of that for me at least is to actually tell people that I did it. You know, I can sit here and spend weeks and months and whatever perfecting the thing, and then by that point it's done. You want to go on to the next, you know, the whole artist purgatory loop, and then trying to get on Instagram and actually tell people that this is what I did and pushing it consistently for at least, you know, 3 weeks or something before it comes out, and then when it comes out, and then after it comes out, while you're still trying to work on the next song to do after that, you know, like it's that's definitely a lot more steps to than just posting on Instagram every day. So I struggle with that. No, I've stayed independent. I'm not gonna say I've been approached with like major label deals, but there are, you know, companies that claim that they'll assist with marketing or production or, you know, things like that that aren't major labels. And no matter what it is, whether you're major or not, I'm still gonna say no because I, I you know, it's iffy, but as in some ways, I feel like whatever the major label can offer me, I can do myself, minus spawning $1 million, you know. But owing more than $1 million after that is not worth it. So I would rather just do it naturalistically, find my nice budget ways, you know, like to get a nice music video out of minimalist budget. You know, like you can still do what they do if you know what you're doing. And so I would rather just learn all of it. That's kind of been my whole thing since for music. I always wanted to be the know-it-all. I want to know everything in and out. It's never gonna happen. I will never know all of the information in the world, but I want to. So I'd much rather do it myself and know that I'm confident in the way that I'm doing it versus giving out to somebody else. Um, right now, I'm really just striving for more consistency in terms of releases. I have a lot of music lined up. I want to get to the point of my first album because I've felt prepared for it for a while, but I just don't think I have the following for it yet. So I'm more just pushing to growing my fan base so that I can release consistent quality work that actually can be enjoyed by more, of course. And I also am looking to pursue into some other endeavors soon. I'm working on my first music video coming up. Um, I have some ideas for maybe some short films, you know, stuff outside of other mediums. There's a lot going on in the background, and I have a lot of good, very solid plans this year to expand my music out of state. Let's say that. It kind of, I feel like in some ways it contradicts some of my recent work because like I said, how I started with rock music, the initial goal with making music was, and this is completely subjective, I don't think I would ever actually know this, but like metaphorically, I guess, if I were to save one life type thing with my music, it's worth it. You know, the idea of sharing my word all the way into someone else's heart and being that moving aspect for them. But I don't think rapping about bitches and money is gonna do that. So it's strategic, but the goal in 60 years, when you look at it long term, there are a lot of things that I plan to do that will mainly be for the purpose of spreading positivity. You know, like my whole purpose is to kind of be that voice for everybody else, um, and do the good deeds. You know, a bit. There's levels to it. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist. I'm also not gonna say that there's some magical force that makes things appear. Um, it's I feel like that's somewhat of a religious, like spiritual question, you know. But all in all, I do think that it's necessary, uh, in the same way that it's necessary to actually go towards the things that you're trying to manifest. You know, I will never act like because I asked for it, it will come to me without trying to make it come for me. You know. So yeah, I have a song that I'm soon to release, and there is a music video in the works that will most likely be open to the public for the shoot. So soon I will be announcing a date and a location most likely for people to pull up and be in the music video. So follow me on Instagram at Cody Janis Official, you know what I'm saying, for that information. Keep doing what you do and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And my one thing that I would say is music has been the main factor that pushed me into actually being social and getting to know other people. So if you feel like you're genuinely not, you know, if you feel like you're introverted and you don't have friends or something like that, you know, like definitely push towards the artistic values or whatever you're interested in, because even if it's not artistic, if you like coding or you know other things, I don't know, everything is artistic to me. I can't really think of a thing that isn't artistic, but whatever you do, there are other people that are also interested in it, so go find them.
I love you, 508.